Hey everyone, you're listening to the Pondering Points podcast. I am your host, Apostle MB. As a pastor, politician, podcaster, and life coach, I will be sharing with you my knowledge, my thoughts, my wisdom, and sometimes my concerns, all flavored with the Word of God so that it might empower you, encourage you, and equip you. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Pondering Points. Let's get started. I got a point for you. Have you ever seen the beat? That is a phrase that growing up, I used to hear my dad say often, or sometimes he would say, that's the beatinest thing I have ever seen. Or I've heard someone say, I ain't never seen the beat. And then others would say, now that beats all I have ever seen. Have y'all ever heard anybody ever say that? As I studied that growing up, and I was just thinking about that phrase the other day, and I could actually hear my dad saying, have you ever seen the beat? And normally that phrase / question was followed up with some type of issue or story or some type of happening. And as I began to throw, and I just figured it was something that my dad had made up a saying until I began to Google that one day. And I found out that that is a phrase that originated from us Southerners, those of the South. And what it was to express was, it was a phrase to express how someone or something is acting crazy and or abnormal. And that when someone heard something or seen something that caused them to be at a loss of words. So in order to put it in words, they would say, have you ever seen the beat? Let me share you a story that I just want to use as an example. Two friends walking down the road. One friend leaves the roadway and stumbles and falls in the ditch. And of course, in the excitement and in the array and in the embarrassment and all that other stuff and urgency, that person in the ditch begins to cry out, help, help. I've fallen in this. Hey, come and get me. But the other friend continues to walk. They don't stop. They ignores the cries for help. They ignore the yelling. They ignore possibly the tears from the one in the ditch saying that I may be hurt. I can't get out of this ditch. And they continue to walk, and they walk and go completely out of sight and sound of the person that's in the ditch. And he just continues on, and he continues to walk. Now, you might say that sounds crazy, but it happens often, almost daily among friends. When one experiences problems and issues in their life, and yet the other acts as if they don't know it, they didn't hear it, and they continue to move, and they literally eject themselves out of the situation. I've noticed that problems and issues happens. Things happen in our lives, and many times those things are out of our control. Keeping in mind the story, and I made this story up as an illustration, but just keeping in mind of that story, they both was on the road, but one left the path. And as he's walking on the side of the road, he stumbles over something and falls in the ditch. The other one, not even knowing whether or not he is hurt, whether he's playing, whether he's okay, he continues to move forward. And oftentimes it's not the ditch issue, but oftentimes people in life run into issues. and I'll say this again, it is one's hopes and intentions that those that are within your circle would have the unction, strength, and you would hope that they would have the willingness to try to do something about it when you run into trouble. But that is not always the case. And so we have these hopes, we have these wishes, and people around us can step in and to help us out, or at least stick around until you get some help. But it is not always the case. And I want y'all to keep that in mind. And I'm talking a little different today than I normally do with the podcast. And I've kind of got a different angle here. So I want you to hang on with me. Problems and issues in life does something to us all. And I want you to keep in mind, it does something to us all, but it also does something for us all. And that's the angle that I want to go in on today on the podcast, because problems and issues, they reveal. That word reveal means to bring to the front or to the surface. They bring to the front or they bring things to the surface. Problems and issues. We can't help it. We all experience problems and issues. Sometimes after you've gotten over your problem and your issue and you look back and you begin to think about it, we probably all have experienced this, and we looked at those friends that we thought was going to be there. They were the ones that kept walking. We thought those family members who expressed that they loved you so much, but when problems came, they kept walking. And so it does something amazing. There's a story in the Bible, in the book of Luke, chapter number 10, verses 30 through 37. Jesus is giving somewhat of an illustration. And he talks about, and we've coined this in the Bible as the Good Samaritan. This man here experienced a problem. He fell among thieves. They robbed him, they stripped him of his clothes, and they beat him, and they left him wounded. And the Bible said that a godly man, a priest, came through and saw him. He literally went to the other side of the road and he kept going. And mind you, the scripture said that they left him for dead. The priest came and he went around to the other side. A Levite, I think it was, came. And the Levite literally walked up to him, looked at him, and he moved on. You know, I often wondered as I read that story, often wonder what was the reasoning going on in their mind as those two looked at that man. What was the reasoning that they settled to justify why they did not stop to help him? I often wonder that. What was the reasoning that they came to that justified that? Could it have been that their reasoning was that it's a trap? And the moment I go over there and start helping him, there's somebody else hid in the bushes that's going to jump out and they're going to attack me as well. Or maybe they just said in their mind, this man is left for dead. You know, he's all bloody. I don't want to get my hands bloody. I don't want to get all that blood on him. Or the most famous reasoning that most people put in their head to justify why they don't help. And that is, I didn't want to get involved. I just didn't want to get involved. I didn't know the whole full story. I didn't really know what was going on. So I did not want to get involved. It is amazing. It is amazing as I look at this thing, ladies and gentlemen, because two things stand out. Two things stand out. And I'm gonna give you these 2 points and then I'm gonna be finished for today. So again, we can't help when problems and issues happen in our life. But let these problems and issues, let them become a tool for you. This is what I want you to take away for today and for this week. Let those problems and those issues become a tool for you. And that tool is, now remember, I said that problems and issues reveal. they reveal two things. And then I'm going to come back to my point and I'm going to wrap it up. It revealed two things. First of all, it reveals something in you. And then it reveals something in those walking with you. Let's look at that. It reveals in you your faith level and your strength. I often like to say it reveals your faith level and your drive. It reveals your faith level that, listen, if I don't have enough physical strength, let's go back to the story that I shared with you a moment ago about the two friends walking, one fell in the ditch. Let's zero in on that, on you, the one in the ditch. Because either, check this, either you are the one in the ditch or you're the one that's still walking. Either you are the one in the ditch or you're the one that's still walking, ignoring the one in the ditch. But check this, I'm gonna put you in the ditch for a second. So it reveals your faith level. If my strength and my drive can't get me out of my issue or my problem, then surely my faith in God can do it. And oftentimes, ladies and gentlemen, we have the physical strength and we also have the emotional drive, but we don't have the spiritual faith to bring us out of whatever problems we're in. So many a times we end up and remain into the issues that we are in life. Matter of fact, either you will fight to survive or you'll quit and die. I need to say that again. Either you, when you're experiencing problems and issues in your life, either you will fight to survive or you will quit and die. And understand, quitters don't win, ladies and gentlemen, and winners don't quit. So you've got, when problems come, they reveal either I got areas in my life that I need to work on, that I got weaknesses in my life, but it also reveals my strengths in my life. So when problems come, either I'm going to realize that, hey, my faith ain't where it needs to be. Hey, my strength ain't where it needs to be. Hey, physically. Hey, emotionally, my drive is not where it's not supposed to be. So what I need to do is that problem and those issues shows me that now I need to go back and I need to build myself up. I need to strengthen myself, because sure as I live, problems will come again. But the next time I'm going to be prepared for it. The second thing that problems and issues reveal is those that's walking with you, your friends and or your family. It reveals their dedication, their purpose, their love that they say they have towards you. Everybody, and I want y'all to hear me, and I'm getting ready to finish. Everybody walking with you don't have your best interest at heart. That is inclusive of family and friends. Or maybe I should say friends and or family. Everybody walking with you don't have your best interest in heart. Matter of fact, when problems come, ladies and gentlemen, either those friends will stick and stay or they will disconnect and run. So that problem reveals it. Can you imagine? Go right back to the story that I told you at the beginning of the podcast of the two friends. One veered off the path and stumbled and fell. The other one kept walking, ignoring the cries, ignoring the pleas for help, and he continued to walk away. Why? Have you ever lost a friend and you wonder what happened? Why did they walk away? Why did they disconnect themselves? Most of the time, if you'll trace it back and look closely, it was because of a problem or issue that came up in life. and you were faced, and either they stuck and stayed, or they disconnected and ran. In the story that I gave you, that friend, what he literally should have done was stop, check out, are you okay? And that person would have said, I don't know what happened. I stumbled, I fell, but get me out of this ditch. And even if he was not physically strong enough, he should have said, well, hold right there. I'm going to run and find some help. I'm going to go somewhere. I'm going to call somebody. I'm going to do something to get somebody down here to help get you out of this ditch. That's a true family. That's a true friend. That's a true family member. But when a person walk out of your life simply because of problems and issues that you were experiencing, it's revealing who they really are. It's revealing who they really are. And when we see ourselves and we give up in our problems, then it's revealing where we really are at as well. That means we got to work on some things. Have you ever seen the beat? I certainly hope that the day when you can say that you, the next time you say that or hear that phrase, you can really sit back and say, you know what? I'm lost for words. I'm dealing with the problem. But you know, it's showing me some stuff. It's showing me really the heart and the love level of people around me. Guys, I hope that was a help for you on today. This has been Apostle MB with your Pondering Point podcast. Man, I hope you have a great day, and I pray that you have a fantastic week until we see each other again in the streets or right here on social media. I pray you be blessed. Shalom.